Hi, I'm Captain Goober.
And I'm Yellow Butter.
XESMP, arguably the most underrated Minecraft server of 2023. I am, of course, very biased, as it was a passion project between myself and Yellow Butter. The server started as a joke during my subathon in July of 2023, but over the following months turned into its own world in a multiverse with deep lore we couldn't uncover in the server's extent. The world introduced itself mysteriously from the start, revealing players one Tumblr post at a time, and slowly revealing pieces of a puzzle. This theme, you will see, has continued.
The 16 players of the server, upon joining, were secretly given roles by the Puppet Masters that were intended to affect their experience at the hotel. The roles consisted of author and archiver, were Noxip and Killer Crow. Their job was to find hidden lore books throughout the hotel, but for opposing reasons.
The survivor was Geo, the intended only survivor of the events of the hotel, to be mentioned in the future that doesn't exactly go to plan.
Onyx was the sufferer, the attendee of the hotel, who was supposed to be the first to die. Unfortunately, the Puppet Masters did not achieve that goal in time.
The leader was Lunar Moon, the supposed tour guide of the group of hotel attendants, although they were never seen.
The recruiter, Flawa, was a follower of a dark deity whose only goal is to lead the guests to the heart of the hotel as a sacrifice. The deity's intentions are still unknown.
Dragongirl was the sponsor, who was the one who originally paid the mayor to reopen the hotel. Their reasoning behind this is unclear.
The silencer was Glitchy Artist. The purpose of the silencer is to make sure that no information is found out about the hotel. Who is making them do this has not been revealed, although it could be speculated to be someone from the mayor's office.
The lovers were Astrophysicist and Laundry Bear, a couple on their honeymoon, but one held a secret.
The divider was Ruby Ninja, supposed to intercept the information from one of the lovers, ended up being unsuccessful.
The witch doctor was Banana, who had the opposite goal as the recruiter and wanted to keep as many people out of the heart of the mansion as possible. They failed, having never stepped foot in the hotel.
The concluder was Roxel Blue, knew all of the information about the hotel, yet could not share it, a silent bystander to the chaos.
The gaslighter was Hypnos, who was there to cause confusion and chaos, but not really with a lore purpose.
Excavator was Lenin Z, an archaeologist that was sent to the hotel to dig up relics of the past.
The savior was Kronos. Their goal was to get everyone out of the hotel before it was too late. They may have a past at the hotel too.
We will now be going into the plot of XES&P. The Puppet Masters, who will go into more detail on soon, go to the old decrepit Xe Hotel in 1923. At this time, the hotel had been abandoned for many years now. Long ago, actions of hate, secrecy, and witchcraft had caused its close. We will go more into these later.
This will be the Puppet Master's first assignment on our own. And it goes wrong. Terribly wrong. The Sufferer is the only person to survive, when their entire purpose was to die in the hotel. A coven of witches keep their magic forbidden from the timeline, and the Savior, destined to save most of the people, can't save more than a few.
The Puppet Masters go to Xe Hotel in 1923. At this time, the hotel has been abandoned for many years now. Long ago, actions of hate, secrecy, and witchcraft had caused its close. We will go more into these later. Because of this, a magic source, not supposed to be discovered for more than 1,000 years, is found by a group of people on an island somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. They learn how to harness this power and become capable of almost godlike powers. One of such powers is the ability to put humans through metamorphosis. They thankfully only succeeded once, in 1823.
This brings us to the story of a young child. Born in 1807, Alice Burton lives in the town where all of this takes place. When her father died in a war, she attempted to get a job to make money to feed her and her mother. In 1823, she applied for a job at the newly opened Xe Hotel, but in doing so, she took her father's first name, Winston, and pretended to be him as she worked. Shortly into her work, she met Eleanor.
Over time, they developed a very close relationship. Eleanor was a cook at the Xe Hotel. She was known throughout the nearby town for her cookies. One could call them magical. Eleanor was a part of the witch coven that had originally brought the puppet masters to this location in the first place. She would mix special ingredients into her cookies to make the consumer feel elated and full of joy. Every lunch break Alice had, she would go to the kitchen to see Eleanor, and Eleanor would give her freshly baked cookies.
Throughout the following months, they would grow closer and closer, and Alice would grow more and more attached to the identity that they had assumed. Eventually, as we see in his journal entries that are found scattered throughout the hotel, he starts completely assuming his father's identity, and signs the journal entries as Winston Burton.
But no lie can be left uncovered forever. Eventually, they discovered that he was pretending to be his father, and at such a time, the townspeople were outraged. They attempted to kill Winston, and they got close. The only thing that saved him was Eleanor and the other witches. They barricaded him in the hotel walls after he had sustained many injuries from the attacks of the townfolk. As a last resort to save his life, they encased Winston in a cocoon of the flesh of the townspeople that were attacking him. But Eleanor did this, knowing she could never see him again, as it would take 100 years for Winston to go through metamorphosis and heal himself, creating what is now known as the heart of the hotel. And she also knew, after all of this, Winston would be changed. His body would no longer be human, and he would behave differently, more instinctually than strategically. But she knew what would happen to him if she didn't would be worse. She knew her love didn't deserve any of this.
100 years later, on October 13th, 1923, guests returned to the hotel, led by the puppet masters, perfectly timed for Winston's awake. The puppet masters specifically selected people that would play a role in the hotel, and made sure that they would be there. And they all witnessed the opening of Winston's cocoon, his body now insectoid, with beady red eyes, dark fur, antennas, and moth wings.
Now, to best describe these events, we would like to read a quote from the end of the third and final session of XESMP.
As you set foot in the room, the heart at the center started beating as one with yours, but the pounds it made full of wrath and passion. As the bony wing extends from the growth in the center of the rim, you come to the realization the heart is a cocoon for another being, a being locked in these neglected walls for the past 100 years. Another wing extends, and you all begin to panic. You freeze in fear. Except for one. Kronos isn't swallowed by fear, and charges at the being unearthing itself from the flesh cocoon. The being's eyes look of a withered human's, and deep within you see emotions that used to flood them. But only one stays now, an ugly mix of anger and confusion. The savior pulls a sword out of his inventory and charges towards the being with every ounce of energy left in his body. But just as your hopes were up, they were crushed, alongside the skull of Kronos against the black stone wall after a lucky hit from the unnatural wing of the moth, and any humanity you saw in its eyes leave as it charges towards you all. You dive away, barely surviving the initial attack, but as you look back, it flies out of the room, knocking a lantern onto the dry, wooden floor. You spend your final moments beholding such a horrific sight, as your body burns to nothing.
As that quote suggests, after the events of XESMP, the hotel burnt to the ground, but the moth escaped the inferno, and flew to whatever lighthouse would lure it, only to be seen by one kid, who would grow up trying to find an explanation for the night he watched such a foul beast escape a burning hellscape from his bedroom window. The puppet masters go to Xe Hotel in 1923. At this time, the hotel had been abandoned for many years now. Long ago, actions of hate, secrecy, and witchcraft had caused its close. We will go more into these later.
But we are left with one big lasting question.
Where will they go next? Why do they talk as if humans are their science experiments? And lastly, who are the puppet masters?
Well, basically, so the puppet masters are like the leader was Lunar Moon, the supposed tour guide of the group of hotel attendants. I just got a notification saying Razor Cortex share and win 60,000.
The silencer was Glitchy Artist. The purpose of the silencer is to make sure that no
I'm
Can you
sorry.
not laugh at me?
No, it's
I
just
can't read.
it's just how many times you've had to do this one line.
Stop! That's so mean!
It wasn't your fault. It's just not working out. That sounds like a breakup line.
It's not you, it's me!
It's not me, it's you. You should really seek help. As you set.
Ready, set, go!
set. On your mark, get set, go.
Just read the script.
As a bony wing extends from the growth in the center of the room, you come to the realization.
Sorry.
I was doing so well.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. But the pounds it made full of wrath and passion as a bony wing. I'm sorry. I'm so
Please tell
sorry.
me you didn't say that during the third session.
I didn't.
Okay. As a bony wing extends from the growth and okay, I can't unhear it. The growth.
We accidentally misplace a material during the forming of the planet. Because of this, a magic source, not supposed to be discovered for more than 1,000 years, is found by a group of people on an island somewhere deep. Sorry. Because of this,
Eyes blue like the Atlantic and I'm going
Stop.
down like the Titanic.